How you doing? I'm Kevin Fell. It's the Western Ontario Super Hockey League podcast, episode 3. Yes, I've made it this far. Trust me, my mom's more surprised than you are. So, we have still no theme song, and we're looking for one, and I'm looking for you to do it. Yes, if you are a composer, a songwriter, a singer, you noodle the guitar. That's how you say it, right? Well, get me a song, record it, send it to me. You email me the song and your entry at kfell@vistaradio.ca, and we will try and we will pick a winner. I've got one right now from Jamie Mins, who watches the podcast from out of Calgary. Really cool tune. Maybe next week I'll feature it. Here's what we got coming up on the show today. We've got highlights from the only game from last weekend. 2 games were canceled, however. Well, postponed is a more appropriate term due to COVID-19 protocols. And it was the Strathroy Jets. They were supposed to be in Elora and in Tillsonburg. Those games will have to be made up. They were postponed due to COVID-19 protocols. Also, Mitchell Scott is joining me. He's the general manager from the first place. They just clinched it. Elora Rocks. We're going to talk hockey. We're going to talk what it's like being a GM in the league. And we're going to talk what he has to do to keep the momentum rolling as we get into the sprint for the Sleeman Cup. But you're all here right now to find out what took place in Alverston as the Stratford Fighting Irish visited the Killer Bees. And the Irish were shorthanded, they were injured, but they pulled out the win. Check out the highlights. Here they are. Those were some beauty highlights out of Alverston as the Killer Bees were down by the visiting Stratford Fighting Irish 5-2. As mentioned, I was chatting with Mitch Scott. He is the general manager of the Elora Rock. Let's check in with that interview. And we learned some things about being a GM. We learned some things about what a first place team has to focus on to continue rolling in to the sprint for the Sleeman Cup. Mitch Scott, the general manager of the Elora Rocks, joining me on Zoom. Mitch, thanks for making some time for me. Now, you've had a big week. You guys clinched first place.
Yeah, it was pretty anticlimactic clinch for us. Not the way we would have hoped to do it with Strathroy not being able to make the trip to Elora on Friday night. We wish we could have played them because we've had a blast playing against those guys all year, and we have a ton of respect for that organization. So it was too bad that it happened the way that it did. But we've played awesome all season long, so it was nice to finally clinch first.
So what can you contribute to your success over this season then? Has it just been the team and everyone's bought into a system?
Yeah, I think it's a whole conglomerate of reasons why we've been doing so well. But this is one of the best teams I've ever been a part of, let alone senior teams. We are constantly the only team in the league who gets 4 lines every single game. We get guys showing up to practice. I know Stratford draws pretty well too, so I shouldn't say that. But our team travels well. We always have 4 lines to dress. We have guys who play for each other and are just doing it because they love it. It's such an unbelievable group of guys, and it's a great family that we've built over the course of the year. And it really started with a couple of key guys at the start of the year, guys like Luke Baleshta, Spencer McCormick, Clayton Bolsher, Ty Campbell, a couple other guys like that, and sort of just they kept bringing their friends, bringing other guys, and just through one shape, form, or another, all of these guys sort of knew each other already, and the guys who didn't just blended in so well. So it's been an awesome group and a great ride.
And Mitch, you bring something up that I'm a huge pusher in when it comes to sports. It all comes to the dressing room. You have a great dressing room. You have fun in there. You go out on the ice, you have fun, and you get results. Clearly, that's working for you guys.
It is. I mean, the team, the leaders on the team really hold everybody accountable. But like it really just comes down to the group of guys that we have. And at the start of the season, we did our research on each guy, and we wanted to make sure we were bringing in guys who were, going to be team players. And we wanted to have the professionals on our team, the guys who, own their own businesses, or they're career first oriented, or their family first oriented. And it's really helped to establish sort of the identity of our team and what the team looks like in the dressing room. And like, for instance, like this is the kind of group that we have. We brought in Anthony Marshall, who's one of our goalies. Right before Christmas time, we had Ed Davey, our other goalie, go down with an injury, and we brought in Marshall. And he came to practice, then he came to our game in Alvinston that week. And then next thing you know, he's in the Santa Claus parade with us, and every single guy on the team loves him. So everyone just sort of gels so well in the room, and they know that we have a really good thing going. So it's been really easy to have a great team.
And as a general manager, have you had any obstacles this year, especially with COVID?
Yeah, there's been lots of obstacles off the ice, I guess. The big thing is when Rich Wigmore and myself, Rich is the president of the team, when we took over the operations, there was a lot of financial hardships that the team was in from previous seasons, being in the old senior league. Some debts owed to the town, and just some other, we some obstacles that we had to sort of overcome right at the start. And then as the season progresses, there's always going to be things that come up here and there. We unfortunately don't have our head coach for the remainder of the season due to some health issues with his family, and he just thought that it would be safest if he didn't finish out the season. We totally respected that. So obviously those little obstacles are going to come into play, but yeah, I mean, like any team, we have the same obstacles as everyone else.
So you grew up in Collingwood. You played for the Collingwood Blues. You then played college. You then played WOAA in a town that we won't mention because it's my hometown rival. But what's the difference from those leagues now and being a player to being a general manager?
So I took a lot of things that I saw from the WOAA, and this is where I think our league is a little bit more progressive, and I'm not going to put down the other league because it's still unbelievable hockey. But when you look at the rosters on a lot of those teams year to year, there's not much turnover. So that speaks for they've got a great, the team sort of, the guys love to be there and everything like that. But at the same time, there's not a whole lot of recruiting. There's not a lot of development going on. And as a league where we're, I would say we're a younger league than the other senior league. We are sort of stressing for development. We've had multiple guys go down and play in the Federal Hockey League this year. We've had offers for a couple of our guys to go over to Europe. We actually had a team in Germany reach out and ask about the leading scorer, Alex Utley, on our team, to see if he could go this year. But we have a lot of we're really trying to stress development, and we don't want to hold guys back from doing that. But I think the big difference just comes down to recruiting. You see Stratford and Alvinston and even Tilsonburg added some guys. Strathroy did a pretty good job from the start, bringing in guys. They haven't done a whole lot of additions through the year, but every team really has made those additions to make their teams better throughout the year. I think those are the big things that separate us from the other senior league. And ultimately, I think that's going to lead to more teams coming in next season.
Now, you're talking about recruiting and stuff. What is the process for the Western Ontario Super Hockey League? Is it word of mouth? Are you a friend of a friend is a good player, so you bring them in and you have them try out? Or do you go to rinks and watch guys and say, you might want to come here? How does it work?
So to be completely honest with you, it's the same as in any senior league. Most of it is word of mouth. Obviously, as a GM, we have to do our research on the guys, and we have conversations. We want to make sure that we're going to have buy-ins from the guys, that they're going to come on road trips. Because I know with some senior teams, the biggest issue is in any of the three senior leagues in Ontario, is that they don't travel well. So your top guys who are lighting it up at home, you can see a totally different team when they go on the road, just because they're not getting that commitment of traveling. And even though we don't pay any players, and guys for this year are having to pay their own way, like for gas and things like that, we're still getting buy-ins from all of our top guys. So that's really helped us. That's led us to the record that we have today, I think. But that's really what it comes down to. The big difference for recruiting is we're getting that word of mouth from a lot of players, because they just enjoy being a part of our team.
And you had to step in, lace them up for 2 games. Did the boys in the dressing room razz you a bit because you're their boss? Like, if you botched a play, did you hear about it?
I mean, luckily I'm not that far out of playing. I'm only a couple years removed from playing senior. So, and also to being a defenseman, it's tough to, how do I put this? If you simplify the game, it's not that difficult. Defense is a pretty easy position to play if you don't take the risks. So I knew I could mitigate some of that by, not pinching, and my skating has definitely taken a step back from what it did a couple of years ago. But I don't know, it was a lot of fun, and the guys were appreciative of the fact that I came in and I showed that what we preach in the dressing room, I can actually, reenact when we're out on the ice. So, well, it's good that you practice what you preach. That's for sure. Yeah. And you guys, first in the league, you clinched it. You're heading up and getting ready for the run for the Sleeman Cup. What do you guys have to do to keep the momentum rolling into the playoffs? Well, we had a month off, and I was pretty concerned about how that would affect our team. Our guys came out with 2 really big wins not this past weekend, the weekend before in Strathroy and Stratford. And when you have a Saturday afternoon game in Stratford after you've just played a really tough Friday night game, those might be the toughest games to play throughout the regular season. So our guys played really, really well, and we had a 7-3 win in Stratford. So I really think just they got to continue to buy in to what we're preaching. We got to continue to hit each team with as much speed as we can through the neutral zone and hard forechecks, and just exiting our zone as fast as possible. I think that's been our sort of ammo all season long, and it's worked for us. And yeah, it definitely has. You've clinched. You're ready to go. You're looking forward to the playoffs. Max, thank you so much for taking some time today. It's been a real pleasure chatting. As mentioned off the top of the podcast, it's a 3-game weekend in the WOSHL, with a couple of the rinks having some pretty cool promotions, a little incentive, if you will, to head to the rink. The student draw is happening Friday night as the Strathroy Jets host the Stratford Fighting Irish at 7:30. This is cool. You can win a little cash if you're a student. Yeah, they're giving away 2 cash prizes to help pay for school supplies to 2 lucky students in attendance at this Friday's game against the Irish. Tag a starving student below who could use the cash. More prizes to come. So Strathroy giving some cash away to
a student. So make sure you're heading out to the game Friday night, 7:30 against the Irish. And speaking of the Irish, they're hosting the Alvinston Killer Bees on Saturday in the William Almond Arena, and they've got some sweet prizes as well. Game is at 4:30. First 50 fans get themselves free popcorn, and there's amazing Chuck-a-Puck prizes as well. A 32-inch RCA TV, which is awesome, Smart TV, Roku TV, as well as Google Mini up for grabs in Chuck-a-Puck, and Alexa Echo Dot, and 4 chicken wing vouchers from the Boar's Head in Stratford. So that should be a dandy game as well. And rounding out Saturday's action in the Western Ontario Super Hockey League, it is the Tillsonburg Thunder hosting the Allura Rock at Tillsonburg Memorial Arena. Should be an absolute beauty for some hockey this weekend. Looking forward to it. Well, there was a look around the league and a cool conversation, too, with the general manager of the Allura Rocks. That was, of course, Mitchell Scott. And next week, we will have some more insight on the Western Ontario Super Hockey League. We will have you highlights from the 3 games that took place this weekend. And we will feature our first theme song for